Oh, can't you just make the argument that, I had the camera tied to my shoe because, like, my pockets were full of, like, cashews or something? I mean, come on, people walk around with cashews in their pocket, and then there's no room for the camera, so they got to tie it to their shoe. What's wrong with that? Well, what am I paying you for? I mean, you're the fucking lawyer. Aren't you supposed to be able to come up with this shit on your own? Goddamn asshole. Oh. Hey, it's, September 25th. I can almost see it. And this is the GaNooze special, I feel creepy edition. That's right. Just seems like there's a lot of creepy in the air. Creepy. It's all around us, the creep. So I feel a little creepy. That's right. Special creepy edition. Alright, news is kind of creepy, so let's get to that while I'm here. Lighting's kind of bad. Light bulbs blew out. Don't have any light bulbs. Just have those energy efficient ones. They make everything all fucked up. So anyway, on to the chores, the work, the duty I must fulfill. Bailout, the big bailout. I don't know, they probably have a name for it now. Some kind of, catchphrasey thing like the big bailout. But anyway, $700 billion. They're coming to agreement apparently with the Congress. They might shove in a couple of little things, to executive pay, not too much of that, and find out some way to, give the U.S. government taxpayers some equity in the companies after their stock goes way up because we took all their burdens away, which is a big joke here. The whole thing they talk about is some kind of like, we'll have a credit crunch or a credit crisis. Bullshit. I mean, that's the whole problem. That's how we got into this mess, is people have way too much credit, so we could probably use a little bit of crisis in the credit market. So screw them. They should let these businesses go bankrupt. Because you know what they're really protecting here? It's like, these businesses are partly owned by, families, big, they own like half the stock, even the publicly traded ones. And, the catch is they can't sell their stock. That's part of the thing. You own half the stock of a company, they say you can't sell it all in one day and that kind of shit. So it's really to save their asses. That's the only reason why they're saving these companies. They ought to just let them go bankrupt, let the assholes who own them go bankrupt. They deserve to go bankrupt. They tried to make a whole hell of a lot of money on a bunch of on bullshit practices, so screw them. And that's all this really is save the rich. It's not going to save the guy owning the mortgages. Your mortgages will be safe. They're a contract. This is all about just saving rich people. Fuck it. Stupid idea. And it's surprising Democrats are going right along with it. And the ones that might hold it up are some Republicans, which is kind of disappointing. But whatever. So speaking of the nutty, disappointing, idiotic Republicans, McCain running away from the debates is kind of funny. Or mostly running away from Palin having to show up and explain that she believes in friggin' witches. She believes that, Jesus, is watching and he needs some nutty witch depossessor to bless her before she's going to have any good luck. And that's how she functions in the world, believing that kind of bullshit. It's just disgusting. So anyway, I don't know what he's going to try to get out of, but I think he's going to have to show up. And if he doesn't, Obama will just sit there and argue with the empty chair and just say, hey, empty chair, you're an asshole. I'm going to kick your ass. You suck. And you're ugly and short and almost invisible to me. I can hardly even see you. You have so little substance. You can come up with all kinds of good lines. So anyway, moving on. China's going to walk in space. I mean, it's kind of funny. Maybe they'll have like a Chinese stamp walking in space. It's a little milestone, but I guess they have to do it just in case. If they want to get into like the big business of satellites, I guess they have to kind of prove that they can fix something if they have to. If they really have to go up there and screw around, they can. But there's the manned space program thing. It's over. It's done. It's finished. There's no point in it. It's a waste of money. Just shoot robots up there. Screw sending people up into space. There's no future in it. It's nowhere to go. It's just no place to go. Fuck it. Anyway, moving on. Google phone. Apparently Google's coming out with some kind of phone. Big deal. Phones are a pain in the ass. Anyway, but this T-Mobile company, they've because they got to stay competitive, so apparently they're going to impose a cap on usage, bandwidth, And so they're going to undo the cap so they can be competitive with Google, because Google probably giving it away at first, but they got billions of dollars to throw down that black hole. So it's going to be a little tough for the other companies for a while. Google can afford to give it away for free for a while. But the whole idea just kind of does piss me off, this whole usage issue. Like, everybody feels entitled. Like the guy who moderately uses bandwidth should somehow subsidize the big fucking pig whores of bandwidth use. And that's bullshit. You know, people should have to pay for what they fucking use. I'm sick of these package deals that just, you know, screw you in with everybody else and make you essentially like subsidizing sports on cable TV. Fuck that crap. I'm really glad I don't pay cable anymore, just so I don't have to finance sports bullshit. So anyway, you know, in the dopey category of stories, there was some dopey story about adult diapers in Japan. You know, there was some sort of fashion show. And so they kind of made it sound sexy, but the story wasn't sexy at all. It was just about, oh, they got to have awareness to this because the Japanese population's getting old and apparently everybody's incontinent. And so everybody needs to know how to put on their adult diapers. And so it was kind of a depressing story. No sex involved. Pakistan shooting with the U.S. Playing a little back and forth, and, you know, I'll shoot at your helicopter, you shoot at our whatever, mud hut. You know, probably a lot of fair trades there. But yeah, look, we can't even, you know, we can't even stay friends with our friends. You know, we're shooting at people who are our ally, which makes a lot of sense. Really great policy we have over there in the Middle East. Yes, let's shoot at the allies. Good idea. Damn. Back to the economy. New home sales are down in August, and so was the durable goods things. You know, people buying less cars and refrigerators and computers and whatever fits into that category. And unemployment is rising, so we're all, the fucking part is just beginning now. The foreplay is over, and we're about to enter the fucking part of the disaster. So get ready for that. It'll be big fun. Malaria is killing a lot of people. 1 million people a year killed by malaria. It affects 3.3 billion people are in malaria-prone zones. A lot of people, 3.3 billion. So anyway, this stupid World Bank is, you know, put together $1 billion and some more other money promises from countries and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they're going to, you know, try to do something about it, so they're going to give people more nets. Like, that's going to solve it. And that stupid Bill Gates bastard, well, he's donating $168 million from that Gates Fund Foundation, you know, to work on a antiviral thingy, you know, a vaccine. It's not a virus. But anyway, you know, it's not a good idea. I mean, you know, it's a good idea to work on viruses, but, you know, you got to take care of the problem that exists, but you got to tell these people they can't live there, okay? It's fucking malaria. Because in some countries it just really isn't worth it. $12 billion they estimate what it costs the Africans itself, the nations. You know, and that's not, doesn't sound like a lot of money, but for people that, you know, have a net worth of $43 as a nation, 12 billion is a lot of money. But anyway, moving on. Another great world story. Carbon dioxide is up, you know, in the atmosphere. So apparently we're, all these Kyoto things and everything else are working really well because, you know, instead of it decreasing, it's increasing. And of course they blame the typical things, burning too much rainforest and manufacturing too much cement, too much development in the third world. But that's the catch, you know, they're so far behind, you know, they're still barely walking in space, and so they're going to have to use more energy to get up to speed, so to speak. But they're still a 10%, I mean, they're a minor contributor, but they're becoming a major you know, component in terms of the volume that's being added of these gases every year. And apparently the sinks, you know, the environmental sinks, they're doing more absorbing than they have in the past, but unfortunately they're, you know, they're falling behind. They're not increasing at the same rate as our production is increasing. So even though there's plenty of ocean and stuff to absorb these nasty gases, they just aren't absorbing enough. Alright, and the last story is kind of a depressing one. Christina Applegate, one of my favorite of the women's, Yeah, she had to have that mastectomy thing, you know, the boob thing, and but she looked pretty good. Saw a picture of her. Maybe I'll post a picture over there somewhere. She looked pretty good at that Mamies thing, you know, saw the picture. And she seemed pretty, you know, mentally adjusted, which she should be, really. I mean, you know, boobs don't make the woman kind of thing. There are lots of other woman parts to play with. And, but, you know, it's kind of depressing. I mean, she's just, you know, it's kind of strange to be, you know, to look so good and have such shitty genetics, you know, because it, you know, it really does run in her family kind of thing. So anyway, it's just kind of depressing. Don't like bad things to happen to pretty people. Oh, I guess it's supposed to be good people. Well, anyway, the pretty are the good. So that's the GaNooze. Sorry, bad lighting, kind of creepy edition. That's the best I could do. Even the paper's kind of doesn't even stand up straight. So anyway, had enough of that. So long.